Welcome back to Law and Society, where legal and social issues come together. Andrew Stevenson is a criminal defense attorney. And by the way, from what I understand, I know you don't brag upon yourself, but others do. You're a darn good criminal defense attorney.
I am.
People want to contact you at Stevenson.
Criminaldefense.com.
StevensonCriminalDefense.com. If you find yourself with the bracelets on in the back of the car, first rule we always say is keep your mouth shut and call your lawyer.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And just say, I want Andrew Stevenson. Call Andrew Stevenson.
There you go.
All right. And then the third rule is keep your mouth shut. Fourth rule, keep your mouth shut. Fifth rule, keep your mouth shut. Okay. Let's get back to this. We're talking about cell phones, and this is what a valuable tool for law enforcement to be able to extract somebody's phone.
Yes.
I mean, as you said, it's bigger than fingerprints. It's bigger than DNA at this point.
At this point it is. And it's, as we talked last time when we talked about searches and seizures, the cell phone does require a search warrant to access because the Supreme Court said that it's probably the most private thing people have these days.
Exactly. So they can't just grab your phone and extract it.
They do have to get a search warrant, but those are routinely issued.
Let's talk about other uses of the technology, because you mentioned Celebrite. They're the big company, but there's smaller programs.
There's smaller companies that do make these software programs, and they can be as cheap as $1,000 to $1,500. Now, the implications for that become that it's not always law enforcement who has access to your phone. It could be the person who steals the phone.
Right.
It could be the person who finds the phone. And they may be able to extract your data and information, not just who you call in your text, but your passwords to your financial accounts, to your insurance, your health insurance. People would be able to get somebody's Social Security number. I've seen these people take pictures of their Social Security card and their birth certificate and put it on their phone.
I took a picture of my driver's license one time to send it to a rental car agency because my wife called and said they need your driver's license. So
it's on there.
It's a great tool when you need it, but then it's there. It's on your phone. Even
it's
when you
also
delete that
there
photo.
are a lot of companies who provide company phones. They have software that's built in that allows them to download all of their employees' phones. Which they do.
Which is their right to do.
Which is their right to do.
They own that phone, and they're using it for company
their
business.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you don't use it for company business, they're going to know. They're also going to know where you are and how long you were there from the GPS. So if you get a company phone, you need to be aware of the fact that it's not yours.
Well, if you're also, and I know before we went on the air, we talked about this. You mentioned your spouse could use this.
Your spouse could use this too. For some reason, divorce attorneys haven't quite caught on to this, and there would probably be some litigation. But imagine a scenario where your spouse meets with his or her attorney without your knowledge, and they're all set to go. And then when you get served with the divorce papers, you also get a request to produce your phone for examination. Before you have time to, quote, get a new phone or upgrade your phone from the old one, as some people tend to do. So I can see this being an issue down the road as more people realize what extractions are.
Again, going back to that, GPS shows you every Thursday night you were at a certain hotel, or, oh, look, you've hidden money.
You've hidden money, your access to the financial accounts.
When it comes to divorce, the more money involved, the nastier it can become.
Tends to be.
And if you're thinking, well, I'll squirrel away some cash, or, I'm going to, there's, again, your phone. Your phone is your.
I don't know why the divorce attorneys. I think some of them are starting to do this. It's going to be litigated. But the bottom line that I tell people is that every text, picture, email, text that you send is going to be on that phone.
I'll tell you what, it's like that song from the Police. Every move you make, I'll be watching you.
Yes.
I mean, your phone is watching you the whole time. I mean, your cameras are. I mean, I think about this. Front and back cameras are active all the time. I don't know if anything's going on with them, but.
Yeah, that's a lot of memory to record.
There's a lot of stuff there, though. You think, and now they're selling these body cameras. What's cool is we're adding more of this stuff.
But from a social perspective, privacy used to be pretty easily accomplished, but then technology allowed and made conversation easier.
Right.
But with that came the price of the potential that somebody else could be. It was vulnerable conversation.
Well, back in the 90s, we had chat rooms, and you never knew who you were talking
to.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have Snapchat.
So then what happened was some companies caught on and realized there might be a certain element of the population who would prefer that their text messages and pictures that are sent not be stored forever. The two people that they were targeting the most were teenagers, college-age kids, and then other nefarious types. So the company Snapchat created an app, and it was kind of clever how they did it. They disguised it as a way to share the snap moments of your life. And you could send a picture, but on the picture you could have little dog ears added and a big clown nose and little hearts.
Little enhancements.
They kind of made it little kitty looking like.
Right.
And fun, but in reality what it was a way for teenagers to be able to communicate with their colleagues and have the message be deleted. Now, after 3 years of operation, Snapchat launched its initial public offering, which is when they made their shares available to be bought on the stock market. And after only 3 years of operation, the initial valuation for that company was $26 billion.
Because every kid was using it.
Every kid, every teenager,
Right.
every college-age
Right.
person, and everyone who was conducting any nefarious activities
Yeah,
was
anything.
using Snapchat for a while.
Right.
The problem that Snapchat ran into, interestingly, was that the way that they worked was that the message would go through their servers
Right.
and be deleted. And then it would be, quote unquote, deleted from the recipients and the sender's phones, but it still remained on their server. So they started getting a large number of subpoena requests from law enforcement. Send us this conversation from this phone number. And Snapchat basically complied. They didn't have a choice. And on their website, they had a whole section on law enforcement, where to send the subpoena, who to contact, what it should say. And they did comply. I have seen cases in which the Snapchat company did comply with the subpoena, and I've seen what was produced from the phone. So I know that they do it because I've seen it. And so then they tried to tell law enforcement they didn't keep it much past 30 days, but they still kept getting the subpoena requests. The end is, the result was that kids and other people started to move away from Snapchat. And the other problem Snapchat ran into is that everything that was sent went through their servers.
Right.
And we know what teenagers tend to send on Snapchat tends to be sexting photographs.
Sure.
And so now Snapchat realized at some point that they've got a whole
They got a whole repository of kitty
computer.
porn, basically.
Yes, basically.
You know, and again, why is it sitting? Okay, if you're in the business of covert messages and deleting, why are you holding them for 30 days in the first place?
I don't know. Well, because they had the storage capacity.
Yeah.
They ran into the same problem. They weren't intentionally overwriting.
And probably because Snapchat realized there's data to be mined out of that.
Yes, that was the other thing. All of these companies who provide you these apps, their privacy policy clearly says, "Babe, by the way, we're going to know what you do, when you do it, and how you do it, so we can use that information and
Read
sell
your
it."
terms of use for Facebook. You know, it's very simple. There's no such thing as a private photo. You post it, they're gonna extract all the metadata out of it.
Yep.
Well, what's this new one called Wicker? This is a little scary.
This is the response to Snapchat, and there are 5 or 6 new what I call deleting apps. Technically, they're called ephemeral messaging, which means short-lived.
Okay.
And they created a new way of doing things. And basically, the idea is still the same. You can send a picture or a text to somebody, and then it's going to be deleted from their phone as well as yours. But what they do differently is the message is encrypted on the sender's phone, and it's sent through encryption.
Okay.
And so when it gets to Wicker's servers, everything is encrypted, and the code isn't on Wicker's program.
They don't have a code key.
No, the code key is on the sender's phone, and
Okay.
it's deleted as soon as the message is sent.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then when it hits the recipient's phone, the message is then deleted, deciphered. The code goes with it, and then it's deciphered.
So it's a one-time cipher for
Yes.
that message,
for that message.
and then it's continuously changing.
It continuously changes every time. And so the company is based in San Francisco, and their policy was that Wicker was founded on a strong belief that privacy is a universal human right that fueled global innovation and economic growth and empowers democracy. So it's a nice statement. The things that they say are true. I do believe in privacy, but what they're using this for is slightly different. I tell parents, when you see the apps on your child's phone, if you see Wicker, you may have a problem. This is a real deal.
This is criminal activity. This is stuff that they don't want anybody else knowing.
And when you go to the Wicker website to see what their policy is regarding subpoenas, they basically taunt law enforcement.
Yeah.
And they say, you can send us a subpoena, but we're going to tell you right now that we don't store anything. And if by some chance we do have it, it's encrypted, and we're going to give you a bunch of googly goop. So don't even waste your time. Go away.
Yeah, because you're going to wind up with bits and pieces of useless stuff.
Information. Yeah. If you've ever seen encrypted data, it's \.5EL. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's all in a string. And then Wicker goes a step further in that they have a program that runs simultaneously with the encryption, which that after the message is sent and deleted, it then overwrites on the phone where that message had been stored.
So it actually is attacking those bits. And
so where delete don't do diddly, they then overwrite it with a bunch of ones.
Yeah.
The ironic thing about this company is that they talk about privacy. They have all these protections on their apps, but when you go there, they've got this cookie policy. And it's pretty bold and it's pretty blatant. And they said, by the way, we use cookies. Click here to set your settings. And when you click here to set your settings, you can see all the different types of information that they collect. And it is a vast amount of information that their cookies collect.
Anything else we want to cover today?
That's about it.
Bottom line is, as you go about your daily business, just be aware. Your phone has everything in it, even when you think it's gone.
Yes.
Delete, don't do diddly.
Delete, don't do diddly.
If you remember one thing about today, other than he thinks it's bull, you know what? It's delete, don't do diddly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. We'll see you next month. These topics continue to just fascinate me because people just don't realize what they're carrying around in their pockets.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you. We'll see you next month.